Kai had nothing. No home, no family. But then he inherited a dusty, abandoned gas station in the middle of the desert. What he found hidden beneath it would change everything. He thought he knew about his life. Hello everyone. Before we start, join our YouTube family by subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to like this video. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And what is your favorite color? Now let's get into the story. Kai shivered as the sun rose over the small mountain town. He was 18 and had nowhere to go. The orphanage had thrown him out yesterday, leaving him with only a thin backpack, a worn-out jacket, and rust. His faithful brown dog. The streets were quiet in the morning, only the soft crunch of gravel underfoot echoing as he walked. The town looked ordinary, small shops, a few scattered houses, but Kai felt invisible. Like the world had forgotten him. He reached the town square and saw a letter pinned to a wooden notice board. The envelope was old, yellowed, and addressed in flowing handwriting. His hands trembled as he tore it open. It was from a law office. The words inside made him freeze. He had inherited a property, an abandoned gas station on the edge of the mountains. He had never heard of this place. No family, no money, nothing, yet suddenly he had this. The letter continued. This property has been entrusted to you. Within it lies a secret. Only the brave will uncover it. Use the key enclosed to begin your journey. Inside the envelope was a small brass key, tarnished with age. Kai's heart pounded. Who had left it? And what secret could possibly be hidden in a dusty old gas station? The journey was long. Russ trotted beside him, ears alert. The road twisted through rocky hills and patches of dry scrub. Dust rose under their feet with each step. Eventually the gas station came into view. It was exactly as the letter described, old and abandoned, with rusted pumps leaning crookedly and paint peeling from the walls. The concrete lot was cracked, weeds growing stubbornly through the gaps. The wooden barn beside the station sagged under the weight of years. Kai approached cautiously. His hands brushed over the faded sign above the door. The name Pine Creek Gas and Supply was barely legible. The building seemed dead, but an eerie feeling made him pause. The key in his pocket felt heavier than it looked. Inside, the station smelled of dust and old oil. Rust sniffed every corner. Shelves lined the walls, filled with empty cans, broken tools, and dusty ledgers. Behind the counter, a locked door caught Kai's attention. A faint draft escaped from underneath, and a glimmer of light flickered through the crack. He remembered the lawyer's words. This was the secret. He explored the office slowly, careful not to disturb too much. Under the counter, he spotted a small piece of tape hiding another key. His fingers fumbled with it. Could it unlock the mysterious door? A sudden noise outside made him freeze. A shadow passed by the window. Someone was watching. Kai's pulse quickened. He backed away slowly, rust growling low in his throat. The shadow disappeared as quickly as it appeared. It didn't matter for now. He had a key and a door, and the curiosity inside him burned brighter than fear. The key turned with a click. The door creaked open to reveal a storage room filled with old wooden crates. Some crates were locked, some broken open. The smell of metal, oil, and wood filled the air. Kai stepped inside, careful not to trip over loose boards. Among the crates, one was different. It had an unusual lock and a faint engraving. He tried the key. It fit perfectly. Inside the crate lay a dusty journal. Kai blew off the thick layer of dust and opened it carefully. Pages were filled with diagrams, mechanical notes, and instructions. At first glance, it looked like a plan for some kind of energy system, solar panels, wind turbines, and a small generator hidden beneath the station. The gas station wasn't abandoned, it was hiding something extraordinary. Kai sank to the floor, reading every page. Rust nudged him with his nose. Outside movement caught his eye. Victor, a tall, rough-looking man with sharp eyes, was standing at the edge of the lot. He disappeared before Kai could get a good look. Victor was clearly watching, and Kai realized the property was worth more than he had imagined. Kai spent the rest of the morning carefully inspecting the crates. Each one revealed small pieces of machinery, old wires, wheels, and levers, all parts of the hidden energy system. His excitement grew, but so did his fear. He was alone. Victor had already made his interest clear. Whoever had left the gas station to Kai wanted him to find this secret. But would Victor stop him? The afternoon sun was high when Kai noticed another detail. A trapdoor partially hidden under an old oil drum. The journal mentioned it, an underground chamber beneath the station. The key in his pocket didn't fit, and yet something inside told him it could be unlocked another way. His mind raced with possibilities. Rust growled again. Outside, the shadow of Victor appeared once more, pacing near the edge of the lot. Kai swallowed hard. The man was not leaving, and now Kai knew that discovering the station's secret was only the first step. Protecting it would be far harder. Kai returned to the journal, tracing the diagrams with his finger. Every pulley, gear, and wire suddenly seemed alive, as if the gas station was waiting for someone capable to unlock it. Kai felt a surge of determination. He had nothing, no home, no family, but he had Rust, a mind willing to learn, and now, a challenge that could change everything. Hours passed, the sun dipping lower behind the hills. Dust swirled around the cracked concrete lot. Kai decided he would start small, clean some of the machinery, organize the crates, and figure out the trap door. Tomorrow he would explore the underground chamber. Victor could wait for now. The secret belonged to him. Kai sat on the counter, Rust at his feet, and read the journal again. His heart pounded. He'd been kicked out, abandoned, and alone, but now, for the first time, he felt a spark of hope. Somewhere in this dusty, broken gas station, something extraordinary awaited him, and he was ready to find it. Kai waited until the sun dipped lower behind the hills, casting long shadows over the dusty gas station. He had organized the crates, cleaned some of the old machinery, and reviewed the journal again. Rust sat quietly beside him, tail wagging gently, sensing the tension in the air. The trapdoor under the old oil drum called to him. It was time to discover the hidden chamber. He knelt carefully, brushing away dust and dirt from the edges of the trapdoor. The journal described a latch hidden under a loose floorboard. Kai pressed the board and the latch clicked open. The trapdoor creaked as he lifted it, revealing a dark staircase descending underground. Dust floated in the fading sunlight as he shone a small flashlight down the steps. Rust growled softly but stayed close. Kai descended slowly, each step echoing in the quiet chamber below. The air smelled of metal and earth. At the bottom, he found a large underground room filled with machinery, pipes, and an intricate network of gears and wires. It was more advanced than he had imagined. Solar panels and small wind turbines, carefully stored, were ready to be installed. A faint hum seemed to vibrate from the walls, like the station was waiting to awaken. Kai's eyes widened as he examined the diagrams, pinned to a bulletin board on the far wall. The system was designed to power the entire gas station independently, with energy left over to provide electricity to nearby homes. Whoever had built this was a genius, and had trusted him to finish it. A sudden sound made him freeze. Footsteps. Someone had followed him into the station. Rust barked and growled. Victor had returned, more determined than ever. "I told you, boy," Victor sneered. Stepping into the chamber. "That property belongs to me. Hand over the key and the journal." Kai swallowed hard. He had no weapons, only his wits and the knowledge he had gained from the journal. Victor advanced slowly, eyes sharp. "I won't let you take this," Kai said quietly, steadying himself. Rust bared his teeth, a low growl warning Victor to stop. Victor laughed, a harsh, cruel sound. "You're just a kid. What can you do? You don't even own the place yet." He reached toward the trapdoor, but Kai had already planned for this. Using the pulley system described in the journal, he triggered a series of ropes and counterweights. Crates swung from above, knocking Victor back and buying Kai precious moments. Rust lunged at Victor's ankle, forcing him to stumble and fall. Victor cursed and ran, but Kai knew this was only temporary. The man would be back. He had to move quickly to activate the hidden system. Following the diagrams, Kai began connecting the solar panels and turbines, running wires to the central generator. Each connection was precise. One wrong move could damage the entire system. Dust and sweat covered him as he worked tirelessly, Rust by his side. Hours passed and the generator hummed to life. Soft lights blinked along the walls and small fans on the turbines spun steadily. Kai could hardly believe it. He had done it. The dusty, abandoned gas station was coming alive, and with it a new hope for the town. As he explored further, Kai discovered a hidden compartment beneath one of the larger machines. Inside was a sealed envelope and another journal. The letter inside revealed the truth. The station had belonged to his grandfather, a brilliant inventor who had wanted to leave a legacy. The energy system was a prototype, meant to inspire someone, capable to continue his work. The journal contained detailed instructions and advice, encouraging Kai to protect the invention and use it wisely. Kai's heart swelled with emotion. He had started with nothing, abandoned and alone, and now he held a powerful secret that could change lives. The station was no longer just property. It was a mission, a responsibility, and a chance to prove himself. Outside, the wind shifted, carrying the faint sound of Victor plotting. But Kai no longer felt fear. He had rust, knowledge, and determination. He understood the gas station's true value, and he would protect it, complete the system, and unlock its potential. Night fell, but the underground chamber glowed softly with the lights of the generator and turbines. Kai sat on a crate, reading through his grandfather's notes once more. Rust rested his head on Kai's knee. For the first time in his life, Kai felt a spark of purpose. The dusty gas station was no longer a forgotten relic. It was the start of something extraordinary. He thought of Victor, the greedy man who wanted to take it all away, and smiled. Let him try. Kai was ready for anything. The first steps had been taken. The journey to uncover the full secret, defend the station, and complete his grandfather's invention was only beginning. And Kai, the boy who had started with nothing, had never felt more alive. The night after the town lights flickered on, Kai did not sleep much. He lay on an old couch inside the gas station office, staring at the cracked ceiling. The steady hum from underground was louder now, stronger. It felt alive. Rust lifted his head every time the wind hit the loose metal sign outside. Kai kept thinking about the fingerprint box, about the letter from his grandfather, about Victor watching from his truck. Everything was getting bigger. At sunrise, Kai climbed down into the underground chamber again. He carried the second journal under his arm. Today he would not just repair things. Today he would understand everything. The basement looked different now. Lights glowed along the walls. The main generator spun smoothly. The air no longer felt dead. It felt important. Kai spread the blueprints across a metal table. He traced the underground power lines with his finger. 3 houses were connected already. But the map showed 12 more. If he activated the full system, nearly half of Pine Creek could receive clean electricity. He swallowed. That would make Victor furious, but it would also make the town choose sides. Rust barked suddenly. A loud engine echoed outside. Kai ran upstairs. This time it wasn't Victor alone. A construction truck pulled into the dusty lot. 2 men stepped out wearing company jackets with Victor's business logo on them. They began measuring the land. Kai stormed outside. "What are you doing?" One man shrugged. "Surveying." "For what?" "Future development." Kai felt anger burn in his chest. "You can't just walk on my land." The man smirked. "We'll see about that." Victor's black truck rolled in slowly behind them. Victor stepped out calmly, too calmly. "I've filed paperwork," Victor said smoothly, "claiming this station is unsafe and abandoned infrastructure." "It's not abandoned," Kai shot back. Victor glanced at the glowing solar panels on the roof. "Illegal modifications," he said coldly. Kai's hands clenched. Victor leaned closer. "You think turning on a few lights makes you powerful?" Kai stayed quiet. Victor whispered, "This town trusts me, not some orphan kid." The word orphan hit harder than Kai expected. Victor returned to his truck and drove away, leaving dust swirling behind him. Kai stood still for a long time. Then he went back underground. He opened the journal again, searching for anything he had missed. That's when he noticed a folded page glued inside the back cover. Carefully he peeled it open. Behind it was another map, different from the first. This one showed something buried under the gas station lot itself. A second chamber, larger than the one he was standing in, hidden deeper underground. His heart pounded. Why hadn't he seen this before? The note beside it read, "Stage 3 must remain unseen until resistance appears." Resistance. Victor. This had been expected. Kai grabbed a shovel from the barn and began digging. Where the map marked a small symbol near the old fuel tanks. The soil was hard and dry. Rust dug beside him enthusiastically. Hours passed. Sweat soaked Kai's shirt. Then the shovel hit metal. A hollow sound echoed beneath the dirt. Kai dropped to his knees and cleared the area carefully. A steel hatch appeared. It was thicker than the trapdoor inside the station, and it had no visible handle, only a small keypad. His heart raced faster. He ran back underground and searched the journal for numbers. On the final page he found something strange, a list of dates. One of them circled. It was today's date, but from 20 years ago. He tried the numbers carefully on the keypad. Nothing happened. He tried reversing them. Still nothing. He closed his eyes. "Think," he whispered. Rust nudged his leg. Kai remembered something from the first letter. The brave will discover what is hidden. Brave. What had he done recently that was brave? He had turned on power for the town. He had stood up to Victor. He had shared the invention publicly. Suddenly it clicked. He typed the number of houses currently powered. 3. The keypad beeped. The hatch unlocked. Kai's breath caught. Slowly he lifted the heavy steel door. A ladder descended into darkness. He grabbed a flashlight and climbed down. The second chamber was massive, much larger than the first. In the center stood a tall vertical turbine, system connected to deep underground thermal pipes. Geothermal energy. This wasn't just solar and wind. It was a complete renewable power plant, enough to power the entire town, maybe more. Kai stared in awe. Victor had tried to bury this project years ago, not because it was unsafe, but because it would destroy his control over the town's electricity contracts. The twist became clear in his mind. His grandfather hadn't failed. He had been silenced. And this station was proof. Rust barked from above. Kai climbed halfway up the ladder and listened. Voices. More than 2. Victor was back. And this time he wasn't pretending to survey. Metal clanged upstairs. Wood splintered. "They're trying to break in," Kai whispered. He climbed up quickly and closed the hatch. He rushed inside the gas station office. Victor's men were forcing the door open. The old lock snapped. Victor stepped inside confidently. "You should have taken my offer," he said. Kai stood his ground. "This project belongs to the town." Victor laughed. "No, it belongs to whoever controls it." Victor's men began searching the room. One moved toward the trap door. Kai's heart pounded violently. If they found the second chamber... Rust growled fiercely and stood in front of the trap door. Victor looked down at the dog. "Move it," he ordered. Rust didn't move. Victor raised his foot slightly as if to kick. "Don't!" Kai shouted. Something changed inside him at that moment. Fear turned into strength. He stepped forward. "You stop this now," Kai said firmly. Victor smirked. "Or what?" Kai walked to the control panel on the wall. He flipped a switch. Outside, a loud mechanical sound echoed. The turbines accelerated. Lights across Pine Creek brightened. More houses lit up instantly. Gasps came from outside. People were gathering again. Victor's men hesitated. The town could see the power increasing. They could see the truth. Victor's face darkened. "You're making a mistake," he hissed. "No," Kai replied calmly. "You did. Years ago." For the first time, Victor looked unsure. Outside, townspeople began recording everything on their phones. Victor realized this wasn't just about land anymore. It was about exposure. He stepped back slowly. "This isn't finished," he muttered. He left again, but this time he looked worried. Kai leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Rust wagged his tail slowly. Kai looked toward the hidden hatch beneath the dirt outside. The full power plant was real, and now he understood the truth. This was never meant to stay small. This was meant to challenge corruption. He wasn't just protecting a building. He was continuing a fight that had started 20 years ago, and now it was his turn. He wiped sweat from his forehead and looked at the glowing control panel. Stage 3 had begun, but Victor would not give up easily, and the next move would decide everything. Kai wiped sweat from his forehead as he looked at the steel hatch outside, the gas station lot. The sun was high now, casting harsh light across the cracked concrete and rusty pumps. Rust, his faithful dog, sniffed the air, sensing the tension. Kai knew Victor would not give up. The man's threats yesterday weren't empty words. He had already tried to intimidate him, and now it was clear that Victor was planning something bigger. Kai knelt carefully and brushed the dust off the metal hatch. It was the final barrier to what his grandfather had left behind. Unlike the small underground room he had already discovered, this hatch was thicker, heavier, and clearly designed to be hidden. His hands shook as he traced the edges. There was no visible keyhole, only a small keypad embedded in the metal. "For my son." "The final stage requires truth." Kai frowned. What did that mean? He tried random combinations, numbers from the journal, even the date of his inheritance, but nothing worked. Rust whined softly beside him. Kai took a deep breath and thought about the words from the letter. "Only the brave will uncover what is hidden." He realized courage alone wouldn't open it. He had to act with honesty, with purpose. Slowly, he pressed in the numbers that matched the count of houses. Powered by the underground system he had activated, 3. A soft beep echoed and the heavy hatch unlocked with a hiss. Kai's heart leapt. He had done it. He lifted the steel door carefully and descended the ladder into the darkness below. The air smelled of metal, earth, and something cleaner, like machinery that had been waiting years to be used. The underground chamber was massive. High ceilings, metal supports, and a maze of pipes and wires filled the room. In the center, a tall glass cylinder contained a vertical turbine. Unlike anything Kai had seen before, he examined the surrounding machines. The journal described them as part of a fully renewable energy system, combining geothermal, wind, and solar power. It was enough to power not just the gas station but the entire town. Kai's grandfather had not just built a gas station, he had designed a prototype for the future. Suddenly, a noise upstairs made him freeze. Footsteps, voices, Victor and his men. They had returned, more aggressive this time. "They're digging here," a voice called out. Victor's words followed shortly. "I told you, boy. That property belongs to me." Kai swallowed. His heart raced. He had no weapon, only his mind and Rust, who barked furiously from above. The man's shadow fell across the ladder as he descended to confront him. Kai thought fast. He remembered the pulley system described in the journal. If he triggered it, crates and counterweights could slow them down. With quick precision, he tugged the rope. A heavy crate swung across the entrance, blocking the ladder. Victor cursed, but his men paused, confused. Rust growled, forcing them to step back. Kai took a deep breath. "You can't stop this," he said, standing tall despite the fear gnawing at him. "This is my grandfather's legacy." Victor stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "You're just a kid. Do you think you can control this?" Kai ignored him and focused on the turbine system. He began connecting the remaining cables to the main generator. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he carefully checked each connection. One wrong move could destroy the entire system. Outside, Victor and his men muttered and shouted, frustrated by the delays. Hours passed. Finally, Kai flipped the main switch. A low hum filled the chamber. Lights blinked along the walls. The vertical turbine inside the glass cylinder began to spin. Slowly at first, then faster. Energy surged through the underground system and into the town above. Small porch lights flickered on. Street lamps glowed one by one. Victor's men froze. Victor himself staggered back in disbelief. What did you do?" he whispered. Kai climbed the ladder to the surface. The desert wind whipped around him, dust swirling across the cracked pavement. Rust leapt beside him, barking triumphantly. The town was waking up. The abandoned, dusty gas station was alive. Lights glimmered across houses that had been dark for weeks. For the first time, Kai understood the true purpose of his inheritance. It wasn't money. It wasn't just land. It was a mission, a chance to bring light, literally and figuratively, to a place that had been abandoned just like he had been. Victor realized the depth of the loss. Not only had Kai activated the system, but the town was witnessing it. People began to gather, curious and hopeful. Phones recorded the glowing streets. Neighbors shared the news. Victor's threats lost meaning in the face of a community. Seeing what Kai had accomplished. Underground, the final hatch clicked shut behind him. Inside was a small box with a fingerprint reader. The last secret his grandfather had left. Kai pressed his thumb to the plate and the box unlocked. Inside was a legal document. The full patent for the renewable energy system, transferring ownership and rights to him. Alongside it was a note from his grandfather. "My dear grandson, if you are reading this, you have proven your courage, your honesty, and your ability to continue the work. Use it wisely. Protect it. Build it for good." Kai's hands trembled. Tears filled his eyes. He had started with nothing. No home, no family, no future. And now he held a secret that could transform not just his life, but the lives of the entire town. Victor tried one last time to intimidate him, but the evidence was undeniable. The townspeople stood with Kai. Authorities arrived after witnesses reported trespassing. Victor's schemes were exposed. He left, defeated but not before casting a furious glance at Kai. Kai looked at the glowing turbines, the spinning vertical turbine, and the small solar panels atop the gas station. Rust barked happily. Kai finally felt the weight of his grandfather's legacy and the responsibility it carried, but also the pride of being part of something greater than himself. By nightfall, the gas station had transformed. Lights illuminated the dusty lot. The turbine hummed steadily, powering homes, businesses, and street lamps. People from the town came to witness the miracle. Smiles returned. Children ran across the lot, amazed at the power of clean energy. Kai stood quietly, watching the town regain hope. He understood now. Losing everything had led him to discover his true purpose. The dusty gas station, once abandoned and forgotten, had become the heart of the town's revival. He whispered softly to Rust, "We did it, boy." Grandpa was right. Courage, honesty, and purpose, it's all connected. Kai's journey was far from over. The town now depended on the system, and Victor would likely attempt more tricks. But for the first time, Kai felt unstoppable. He had inherited more than a gas station. He had inherited a mission and the strength to see it through. The desert wind blew softly across the glowing lot. Dust swirled around the pumps and old signs. For the first time in his life, Kai wasn't just surviving. He was building a future his grandfather had dreamed of. And this was only the beginning. The desert morning was quiet, but inside Kai, nothing was quiet. The hum of the turbine beneath the dusty gas station pulsed like his heartbeat. Rust padded beside him, tail low but alert. Kai had spent days activating the hidden energy system, connecting every underground line, ensuring each panel, wire, and turbine worked perfectly. Victor had retreated, but Kai knew it wasn't over. The man had power, connections, and greed. Kai glanced at the patent document in his hand, proof that the invention belonged to him. But he also understood that the knowledge alone would not protect the town. He needed people to believe to support the system. He climbed to the roof, adjusting a solar panel. When the first truck of Victor's men appeared in the distance, dust clouds rose in the morning air. Victor himself stepped out, calm but cold. His eyes scanned the station, landing finally on Kai. "You think you've won?" Victor shouted, voice carrying across the lot. "This is bigger than you. You're just a boy who was kicked out. I control contracts, electricity, everything." Kai's hands tightened around the wrench. "Not anymore," he said quietly. Victor laughed. "Quiet defiance? That won't save you. I can shut this system down. Tear it apart. Make it illegal. Take the town from you." Kai thought fast. He couldn't let Victor touch the turbines or the underground chamber. Not when the townspeople were relying on it. He ran to the control panel inside the gas station office. The entire system was linked to a network of sensors, switches, and emergency locks his grandfather had designed. Kai had studied every page of the journals, memorized every diagram. With a few quick movements, he triggered the automatic lockdown. Metal shutters slid down over the pump area. The hatch to the underground chamber sealed. Sirens, soft but loud enough to warn, began to hum. Victor's men shouted in frustration. "Get it open!" one yelled. But the shutters were metal, bolted, and immovable. Kai took a deep breath. Outside, he raised his voice. "People of Pine Creek, come see for yourselves." One by one, neighbors emerged from houses, drawn by the humming turbine and the rising lights. Phones and cameras recorded everything. The moment Victor realized the community was witnessing the station's power, his confidence faltered. Kai pressed a button that activated the external display panel, a holographic map projected on the desert dust above the station. Each connected house, business, and street lamp lit up in sequence. The entire town's infrastructure appeared, showing the flow of clean energy, the magnitude of the invention. Victor's eyes widened. He turned to leave, but the sheriff and local deputies arrived simultaneously, called by townspeople the day before. Evidence of trespassing, attempts to sabotage, and intimidation awaited him. Victor's threats meant nothing when the law and the community were on Kai's side. Kai descended into the underground chamber for the final check. Rust followed closely. The turbines spun faster, generating more electricity than Kai had expected. Water from the geothermal lines hissed as it circulated through the system. Each solar panel and wind turbine worked in harmony, creating a perfect energy balance. Kai paused, looking at the main glass cylinder turbine. His grandfather's initials were etched at the base, GM. He realized something profound. The man had not only left him inheritance in the form of land and property, but also a mission, a blueprint for change, justice, and community. As Victor was escorted out by the sheriff, he shot Kai one last glare. "You may have this town for now," he muttered. "But the world isn't yours." Kai smiled faintly. "Maybe not, but the town we love is." The townspeople cheered as the gas station lot became a hub of light. Children ran along the glowing paths, elders clapped, and neighbors embraced. It was more than energy. It was hope restored. Kai looked up at the desert sky. Dust swirled around the lot, catching the sunlight like tiny stars. Rust barked happily. He realized that the real inheritance wasn't the gas station. It was the ability to protect something meaningful, to stand for what's right, and to continue his grandfather's vision. Hours later, the final hatch underground unlocked automatically, revealing a second box. This one contained a collection of letters, designs, and instructions for scaling the system beyond Pine Creek. Kai knew he was not just a boy with the gas station. Anymore, he was a guardian of an invention, capable of transforming the entire region. He sat on the floor, reading the notes carefully. Every word his grandfather had written was a lesson: integrity, courage, patience, and community. Kai smiled through the tears forming in his eyes. He had begun alone with nothing. Yet here he was, responsible for a future no one had imagined. Night fell over the desert. Lights from the station glowed steadily, illuminating the dusty lot. Kai stood on the roof, Rust by his side, and looked toward the town. Every light reflected a choice he had made: to persevere, to fight, and to honor the legacy he had inherited. Deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. But for the first time in his life, Kai felt complete, empowered not by wealth, but by purpose, vision, and community support. Kai stood at the edge of the gas station lot, watching the desert wind toss small clouds of dust across the cracked pavement. Rust padded beside him, alert, tail stiff. Victor had retreated temporarily, but he knew the man wouldn't give up. He had power, influence, and greed enough to try, to take the station and the underground energy system by force if needed. Kai took a deep breath and glanced at the glowing turbines underground. The hum of the vertical cylinder vibrated through the floor, steady and strong. He remembered his grandfather's words in the journal: "Courage, honesty, and purpose will guide the brave." He had shown courage, he had acted honestly, and now purpose would lead the rest. Suddenly, dust kicked up from the distant dirt road. A black truck appeared, moving fast. Victor himself stepped out, eyes sharp, the sneer of entitlement clear on his face. Behind him, two of his men carried tools, sledgehammers and crowbars. Kai's hands clenched. "Rust, stay close," he whispered. Victor called out, his voice carrying over the lot. "I warned you, boy. That invention doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me." Kai stepped forward, calm but determined. "It belongs to the town and my grandfather, and I won't let you destroy it." Victor laughed, but it was brittle. "You think you can stop me with a few machines? A few lights? You're nothing." Kai ignored him and pressed a button on the control panel near the station. Immediately, the shutters over the pump slammed shut, locking the entry. The underground hatch sealed automatically. Sirens hummed lightly, designed to warn intruders. Victor's men pounded on the metal shutters, frustrated. Kai climbed to the roof to face Victor directly. The man glared up at him. "Step down or I will make you regret it." "I won't," Kai said firmly. Victor lunged, trying to climb the stairs to the station office. But Kai had already prepared a countermeasure, using pulleys and weights his grandfather had detailed in the journal. Kai triggered a mechanism that caused a crate to swing across the stairs, blocking Victor's path. Rust barked fiercely, teeth bared. Victor cursed and stepped back, realizing brute force wouldn't work. The townspeople began to appear. Drawn by the humming turbines and the rising lights from the gas station, phones captured every moment. The moment the community witnessed the invention, Victor's confidence faltered. Kai's mind raced. He pressed another switch, activating the external display. A holographic map projected in the dusty air above the station, showing all houses, street lamps, and businesses powered by the renewable system. The town could see the energy flow, the scale of the invention, and the truth. Victor's claims were meaningless now. The sheriff arrived, alerted by neighbors with deputies in tow. Victor attempted to argue, but witnesses confirmed his previous threats and trespassing. Legal trouble was inevitable. Victor's face darkened. "This isn't over," he hissed. Kai descended into the underground chamber. The turbine spun faster, more power flowing to the town. Water hissed through geothermal pipes. Solar panels caught the bright sun, and wind turbines turned steadily. Every component his grandfather designed worked in harmony. Kai opened the final box hidden in the chamber. Inside were letters, patent documents, and detailed instructions for scaling the system to neighboring towns. His grandfather's message was clear. Protect this legacy, use it for good, and empower the community. Kai smiled, realizing he was no longer a boy abandoned by fate. He was a guardian of a mission. The dusty gas station had transformed into a beacon of hope and innovation. Victor, meanwhile, attempted one last desperate move. He tried to sabotage a small external generator, but townspeople rushed forward, stopping him and documenting everything. Police secured the site. Victor was defeated not just by machines but by a united community and truth. By evening, the desert sky glowed with the golden hue of sunset. Lights illuminated every corner of the station and the surrounding streets. Children played along the paths, neighbors cheered, and the once-forgotten town hummed with life. Kai stood on the roof, Rust at his side, looking over the town. "We did it, boy," he whispered. "Grandpa was right. Purpose is stronger than greed. Courage can change everything." For the first time, Kai felt complete. The orphan boy with nothing now had a future filled with hope, responsibility, and legacy. The dusty gas station was no longer abandoned. It was the heart of a revived town, a symbol of clean energy, courage, and the triumph of vision over greed. The wind blew softly across the desert lot. Dust swirled around the glowing pumps and old signs. The turbines hummed steadily, powering homes, businesses, and the streets. Kai knew challenges would come again, but for now, the town was safe, and the mission had begun. Kai took a deep breath, looking at Rust. "Let's make this place shine for everyone. For Grandpa, for the town, for us." The boy who started with nothing now held the power to build a brighter future, and in that moment he understood. Sometimes losing everything is exactly what it takes to find your real beginning.